thank my colleague. Too much for me to respond, and we've got a lot of colleagues waiting. Next in order of appearance would be Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So under President Biden, the U.S. economy has added 80,000 manufacturing jobs, partly because of tax incentives for semiconductor and clean energy manufacturing. But some tax breaks don't actually incentivize job creation. They are just corporate handouts. Right now, Congress is considering a bipartisan tax package that includes two big pieces. Number one, tax breaks for giant corporations, championed by Republicans. Number two, a boost to the child tax credit to help the poorest families buy diapers and school shoes, which Democrats are fighting for. Let's take just one of the corporate tax breaks that Republicans are demanding, a more generous deduction for research and experimentation, or R&E. This break goes mainly to the largest corporations, subsidizing investments they would make anyway. And here's the kicker. Republicans want to make this break retroactive, subsidizing decisions that giant corporations made years ago. Ms. Finley, you represent the United Steelworkers who know a thing or two about American manufacturing. Is there any evidence that giving giant corporations billions in retroactive tax breaks for investments made years ago will somehow incentivize investment and create jobs?
I'm not aware of any.
Yeah, well, they don't have a time machine, so it's pretty hard to figure out how this could change things. So let's take a look at how these tax giveaways, who is really being benefited here. Ms. Finley, which companies would be the largest benefactors of this tax break, and how much would they receive for the R&E investments that they made back in 2022?
My understanding is that the tech industry would largely be the benefactors in the order of billions of dollars. I do want to underscore for manufacturers the importance of some of these business credits, right? The innovation that some of the steel industry has been able to do to make lighter, stronger, more formable steel has been really helpful to people. But that's separate from, I think, what you're talking about.
Well, what I'm talking about is, as I look at the numbers now, it is two companies would receive $13 billion. That's billion with a B in terms of a tax break here in 1 year. And that is more than we spend in the entire year on all federal child care funding for the entire country. At the same time that Republicans push for retroactive corporate handouts, some are fighting against a modest expansion of the CTC called the Look Back. And that would ensure that when a working family has a temporary drop in income, that their CTC benefit doesn't also drop at the same time. So, Ms. Finley, let me ask you about this. Could this happen to a steel worker, that they or their spouse could lose their job or have to cut back on hours? And the ultimate question is, should a family get less help when their income has gone down, which is what this proposal would do?
I think the short answer is no, right? When a family's going through a hard time, maybe the hardest time, they should not get less help. And I think for our union, getting it right on the child tax credit is incredibly important. And we strongly urge the Senate to do its work here.
I appreciate that, and I agree with you. We do need to do our work. You know, I think we need to be clear about what's going on here. Republicans are outraged about modest help for our most vulnerable children, at the same time that they are shamelessly fighting for billions of dollars in retroactive tax breaks for a handful of giant corporations. I believe that's wrong, and we shouldn't let it happen. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
I thank my colleagues.